Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance, and we have a treat for you today. This is an Object 430U, which is a Tier 10 Soviet medium tank. And this one's got 3 marks of excellence on the barrel and is being commanded by Tiger of Tigers. Now, you may have seen some of his replays before. He's an expert player, and I'm expecting that he's going to make this Object 430U sing and dance for us on the battlefield. Now, what can I tell you about the Object 430U? Well, it's basically a heavy medium, a development of the Object 430. It was built prior to the T-54, and eventually the development of this tank was discontinued in favour of the T-54. But it's got a 122mm gun, and unlike the Object 430, it's actually got a longer internal arrangement, because they moved the transmission to the back of the tank, and that gave them more room without actually making it heavier. Okay, he's moving up onto Heavy Alley. And the first enemies turned up. Okay. First target's going to be... Tiger of Tigers is getting around the corner himself. He's got a shot there for a second on the AMX 451, but he was seen, so he's side scraping the corner. He's reloading. He's got an 8.37 seconds reload. Goes for the lower plate, gets a hit for 437 and bounces around for 400. Pulls out again. Another hole in the lower plate. Expert placing of the placing of the shell. And he's got some dangerous opponents around that corner. There's a Type 5 Heavy there as well. I think he's going to turn around and see if there's anything he can hit on Temple Mount. Nothing yet. Have a quick look. Always worth it. Remember that he is a medium tank, although a heavy medium at that. He doesn't really want to tangle with tanks that he can't beat. Yeah, well, there he suffered a shot by the M103 for 365 damage. Going for the Type 4, gets a hit, 361 through the shoulders. Okay, he's reloaded, bounces around from the 103, puts around into the Type 5, but he only does a critical hit. He's loading heat ammo. Now, Tiger of Tigers does use a fair bit of heat ammo. As you can see there, the rounds that actually struck him there on the front of the tank. I think one of them was a heat round in return. Now, players at Tier 10 do tend to play with more premium rounds than usual, and that's because they need to. They find it very difficult to win if they don't, and we know this from Captain Ashtorm's replays. It does make it expensive, but you do get results. And he's waiting for his opportunity to hit them. Okay, his Arty has actually just hit the Type 4. Fires a round through for 428, but he actually takes a round in return from the Type 4 for 418. So not a great exchange really, considering he's only got 2,000 hit points in total. That's 1/5 of, or rather, one fifth of his hit point pool. So he needs to be careful he doesn't do that more often. Okay, he's got a mouse there. Now the mouse and the Wizzy 1114, they can probably do a lot of damage on those heavies. It might be advisable for Tiger of Tigers to actually start thinking about engaging some of the tanks on Temple Mount off to the south. There's a M48 Patton over there, and yet he's going to do that. Okay, it's a difficult route, but you can do it if you're a good enough player. You can get off that top and go around the enemy. You can hit the enemy from the side, then puts a round into the side of the Type 5 Heavy there. Beautiful shot right through the turret, 406, and this means that he's actually now increasing the angles, going for the 103, and no, he actually hit the Type 5 Heavy. I thought he had the side of the turret of the M103 and was going to get a bit of revenge on him, but he goes to the lower plate, and this time he finishes off the 103. Now, he can't hit the 257 at the moment. He's actually below that ridgeline there, and it's a little too difficult to get at. And there's the Type 5s around the corner. If he pokes his head around the corner, I think he's probably going to get hit. Unfortunately, we lost one of our tanks in that exchange. And the enemy, oh no, one of our own grillers has been killed. Oh, he fires around at the 257 underneath the M1. It was at the Type 4, but it misses. But he can get him this time if he can get it right. Oh yes, 409 hit points into the engine bay of the 257. Now, can he reload and put a round into the turret of that 257 when he backs up? Well, he fired onto the top of it, and unfortunately it didn't go through. And that was a round, I think, from from the Type 4, no, Type 5. And he got a shot into him for 394. Now, can he get another shot into him before he reloads? No, he fired at the turret, but it hit the mantlets, I think. So it didn't go through this time. He's reloaded. Now, can he get the 257 if he pokes up again? It certainly would be funny if he was able to fire underneath that wreck and take out the 257. He is a one-shot if he can get around into it, but he's got to worry about that pattern. There's a pattern coming up on his left. Yeah, well, actually, he's not coming up. He's actually gone around. But he's changing position. There's an M4 for 51 there. There's the M50. And puts a round into him for 507 and takes the other round into a tracks. Comes around the corner and, yeah, 452. You can see the power of the 430U versus the E50. It's no contest, really. But he takes a round for 417 from the enemy Arty. GWE 100. That's a tier 10 SPG. Can he get the E50? Yes! And he finishes him off. 376 hit points. That is his second kill. Okay, it's loaded. He's on standard AP at the moment. Going back to the Type 5 Heavy again. But he's reloading the heat rounds. He'll need it for this armor. And his friendly RT has just damaged the Type 5. But there's an M48 pattern. And he's off to the south, actually. Oh, no, it missed. This is a real problem. That pattern's in the rear area. He's going for the Arty. Yeah, and looks like he's going to kill the Arty. He's badly damaged our Arty. I think it's going for the back chat 155-55. There's the pattern up on Temple Mount. Fires around and misses, unfortunately. He was pulling back at the time, but there's a Sheridan. You can take him out. Need a couple of shots to do it. 464. Pulling down, can ram him, track him. No, he doesn't track him, but he does do some damage from the ram and takes him out on the return. But we're just fixing our tracks and we've done so. That's his third kill. Now, get that M46 pattern. And I think he's conscious of the fact that there is still some enemy tanks nearby. And there's the enemy Arty again. 96 hit points to him. He's down to 610. He's still got 1/3 of his health. The mouse is moving forward. Hopefully we can get rid of that Type 5 Heavy. He's fired. And that round goes through. 401 hit points. Now the 704 is actually now occupying a position that was previously held by the 257. There's a big traffic jam here of wrecks. And there's the ship bomb, the FV4005, puts a round for 538 into him. And he's been hit by the enemy Arty again, who seems to be focusing on him. And finishes off the FV4005. That's his fourth kill. Now he's had to turn around. Which way is he going to go? Well, the mouse is holding that corner, so I think he's going to go around the outside of all these wrecks and try and take on the 704 from his side. There he is. Oh, just tracked him. It just tracked him. The 704's repaired his tracks and he's looking this way. Be careful. Puts a round into him. 54 hit points. Finishes him off. That is his fifth kill. And the AMX M451 is just over there. There he is. And puts a round for 397 into him. He's a one-shot now. Can get another round in. That's his Top Gun. Oh, look at the heat round. It made an explosion. Go for the engine bay. Got him. 98 hit points. Top Gun. And I think he's got the high caliber as well. There is only 4 enemies left. Here are 2 of them, the M46 pattern. And he puts a round for 414 into him. And unfortunately he's on fire and he's got a problem. He's lost his fuel as well. 62 hit points left, 503 into the M46. He doesn't want to get a return shot now. It would actually end his game. Bounces around for 390 and finishes off the pattern. That's his 7th kill. Now the Type 5 Heavy is just around the corner. He doesn't want to get hit by that one. Oh, enemy Arty finishes off his game just like that. He must have been waiting for him to come around the corner. But there's only 2 enemies left. The Type 5's gone down. That means it's the GWE100 and the Batchat 155-55. That's all that remains. And the rest of the team are zeroing in on them very quickly. It won't be long now. Win rate of 12,951 during that battle. He really worked it. He worked like the blazes. You know, but as well, tactically, he did the right thing. Once he was up on those heights and he couldn't really get shots on the enemy without getting hit in return, he actually went round the corner and hit them from the side. And that worked very, very beautifully. You know, outflanking your opponent can sometimes work. And it was a difficult job trying to get over that cliff, but he did so. It also gave him the opportunity to take on some of the enemies who were coming off Temple Mount. But I think the mouse has found the GWE100. And the Jagdtiger has too, and despite the fact that the Jagdtiger got hit, the GWE100 won't last long. The Batchat 155-55's been killed, taken out by our Emil too, and we're going back to Tiger of Tigers 430U wreck. And I'm sure any second now we're going to see the GWE100 wiped out. And he's flicking between the various tanks. Stick with one! Just stick with one! And the GWE100 has been killed. He has exacted revenge. And that's the end of the game. 7 kills. And it would have been so easy to get a Radley Walters, it really would. Here's the end of battle results. It's an ace tanker for Tiger of Tigers in the Object 430U. He picked up a Bruiser Medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 15. A Duelist badge for taking down 2 enemies who did damage to him during the battle. A 5 for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. And here's the good ones. The high caliber for dealing the most damage in the battle overall. And a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills. Just so close to getting a Radley Walters. He had 7 kills at the end of the game. So let's have a look at team scores. Well, he definitely got the highest damage. Look at that, 8,805 hit points of damage. The next highest scorer was the GWE100, who kept hitting him and eventually got him 3,404 hit points of damage he did. The Wizzy111 came in with 2,460 and the Emil 2, 2,200. But just look at that monster score, 8,805. Brilliant shooting. Now let's have a look at the number of kills. 7, more than double the highest score on his own team, and nearly, well, more than treble the highest score on the enemy team, which was the Sheridan. He managed to, and the M46 Patton managed to as well. When it came to base XP, again, it was Tiger of Tigers with 1,440, then the Emil 2 with 1,012, and the Batchat 155-55. He ended up with 908. He did survive the battle, even after that M46 Patton came after him, because they did manage to get him in the end. But let's have a look at the detail report. Yep, he got 31 shots fired, 27 direct hits, 22 penetrations. He did damage of 8,805 hit points, all at closer than 300 meters. He received 13 hits during the battle, 4 were penetrations, 9 were non-penetrations, and 3 hits as a result of splash damage from the GWE100. He blocked damage of 4,270 hit points in total. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle, damaged 10 of the enemy, which is 2/3 of the enemy team, and killed 7 of the enemy, just under 50% of the enemy team. He also did damage assistance of 777 hit points. On a premium account, he earned 111,777 credits for that battle. He also, after repair, ammunition resupply and consumables, suffered a loss of 39,470 credits. He actually spent 118,000 on heat ammunition for that battle, but as you could see during that battle, it was necessary for him to fire heat when he was firing at the super heavies, because he was a medium tank facing off against heavy tanks and dealing them huge amounts of damage. It's why he ended up with the score that he did. So yeah, it sometimes is necessary to fire a lot of premium if you want to get the results, and he did get the results in this battle. He also picked up 2,160 XP times 2 for the first victory of the day, took away 4,320 experience points altogether. He said he got balanced by the camper prevention squad. Well, I suppose in a sense we are, but that's not one of our first duties. Our first duty is to support our team and help that team. And unfortunately, on that occasion, the Arty wasn't able to help the M46 Patton in time to prevent him being wiped out. But he did actually stop Tiger of Tigers from moving any further, and of course that is effectively his job, to actually to prevent any further movement by the players who are doing the best on the enemy team, to allow their team a chance to survive or even to win. So if you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.